I see two have joined the live. Enlightened Normie. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is nice scenery, Enlightened Normie. I absolutely love fog. I had to go for my walk this morning. It was 9:30, and something special about fog. It's so quiet out here. It's so nice. So, doing my little walk, I usually try to do about 10,000 steps every day. And I'm out here in Limhamn, which is outside Malma. And there is an island that's attached to some land just outside of where I live. And so it usually takes me about an hour to walk all the way around the little island and go back to the apartment. So, yeah, cute little island with houses. Looks a little English to me, but it's so foggy you can hear the foghorns going off for the ships. So I'm gonna go out to a little lookout area here. Would love to have one of these houses here by the sea, but they're expensive though. Kind of cool with the greenhouse covered balcony on the house there. This is kind of the corner, one of the corners of the island, just across from where I live. There's a nice little walk that goes, kind of a walking trail that goes all the way around the island. Here, I'll walk out to the corner here. Temperature's not so bad today. Kind of crazy. I live in Sweden, and everybody thinks of Sweden as being, oh yeah, enlightened, normie. Yeah. Uh, have you been here to Sweden before? I'm guessing you probably haven't, based on that statement. Would be nice to visit at least someday. Yeah, it's a really special place. It really is. Nice little sitting area here. You can sit out and enjoy the view. Nice and quiet. And I mean, look at how clear the water is. You can see right to the bottom. It's just crystal clear water. I'm sure it's cold. I absolutely love the fog. Something mysterious and romantic about it. We don't get a lot of it where I come from in Texas. Yeah, so you haven't been here. Yeah, gotta save your pennies up. Enlighten normie. Gotta save your pennies up so you can come visit Sweden. Pretty awesome place. Kind of interesting. There are, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there are swans that are swimming in the water. They kind of just went around the corner. Let's see if way I can zoom in. Oh, they just went around the stone, so I missed them. A lot of wildlife out here, but love it out here. Pretty awesome place. So peaceful. And people can't understand why I would move to a place like Sweden. They're like, "Oh, the weather's so awful," but I actually like the cold. I like the cold. I like the fog. It's a lot better than where I come from, where in the summer it's 47 degrees in the summertime Celsius, and then in the winter it'll be colder than here in Sweden. Right now they've had snow and ice where I come from. It's been colder there, and the other day or two ago, I walked to the gym, and I mean it was cold, but I was able to walk to the gym in shorts and a t-shirt. I mean, if I would, granted, if I would have stayed out in the cold, I would have been really cold. But yeah, so across there, normally you can see Denmark. The fog is so thick. There's a bridge just like right there. You can't see the bridge because the fog is just so heavy. Yeah, enlighten me. Yeah, I prefer the cold weather. They have an expression here in Scandinavia is "Det finns ingen dåligt väder, bara dåliga kläder," which basically means there's no bad clothes, just bad weather. I'm sorry, I said it backwards. There's no bad weather, no bad weather, just bad clothes. So it's all about how you dress. If you dress warm, it's fine. You know, if it's too hot, you can't do anything about it. You can only take off so many clothes when it's hot, and you're still hot. Yeah, that's a good expression. These are the coolest houses, how they've got these glass rooms up on the 3rd floor. That is just so awesome. I can't imagine how cool that must be to be able to sit up there, have a cup of tea, and look out over the ocean or the sea, watch the fog rolling in. I'm gonna keep doing my walk here. Gotta get my 10,000 steps in. So, the enlightened normie, where do you live at? What area are you from? The Southeast. I assume, do you mean Southeast United States? Ah, you would say Southeast. So Florida, Alabama, uh, somewhere around there, Mississippi, Kentucky. Oh, wow. I never been there. That's awesome. I I hear they have really nice mountains there. My sister, she lives in Arkansas. She's gone up to Kentucky and taken some nice pictures. Only bad thing about this weather, it makes your nose run, sorry. I have to keep sniffing. Let's see here. I'm not sure how long the fog is gonna last today. Oh, you haven't been to the mountains, enlighten Normie, huh? Over in Kentucky. Which city in Kentucky are you from? So nice walking around here. Everybody's out walking, getting their exercise. That's one thing I love about Swedish people is the majority of them are super active. They like being in the outdoors. Ah, yeah, I understand why you don't want to be too specific. Yeah, it's no problem. The northern part. Okay. Yeah. No, I totally get you about the on certain platforms you don't want to give too much information. Totally get it. Kind of like people are always asking me where do I work here in Sweden. They want to know. If I'm always talking about being an American and a nurse and living and working in Sweden, and you have to be careful on these platforms. Yeah, you got to think not just about your safety, but also, maintaining a level of professionalism. So you don't want to talk about like too much details about your company if you don't have their permission, because it could risk your job, you know. So totally get it. But yeah, it usually takes me about an hour every day to walk from my apartment and do this walk around this island here. And I'm able to get a little bit over 10,000 steps. And it's nice. It feels like a little vacation every day. So, yeah, I love this. Absolutely love this weather. Really, the only thing I have a problem with in Sweden when it comes to the weather is the wind. Where I live is by the sea, and so thankfully today there's not a lot of strong wind. But um, yeah, there's some days that the wind is almost like tornado force winds, but it's like it doesn't, unlike a tornado, it's like it's only coming at you one direction. So you feel like you had to walk sideways. And then if you mix wind with cold rain, it's a really bad combination. I think probably later on, once I've got citizenship, that's my goal is to get citizenship here eventually in a few years, apply. But I want to move farther north, so up where the snow kind of stays on the ground because I love snow. I've lived in cold climates before. I lived in Alaska for a while, so it's nothing I'm unfamiliar with. But growing up in Texas most of my life, living there, uh, we get snow, but it usually doesn't stay on the ground, and you can't really. It's more trouble than it's worth, which is kind of like here where I live in this part of Sweden. It's more trouble than what it's worth because it just melts and gets nasty. So But, I'm trying not to record anybody walking, try to respect everybody's privacy. There's quite a few people here, so I'll have the camera on me here. So, this is your first time on this channel, Enlightened Normie? Aha, I've been lurking around. I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy creating this content. It's fun getting to share stuff like this. I always enjoy watching other people's experiences and kind of like living vicariously through them, see what life is like for them where they live. Actually, I follow there's a YouTuber I can recommend, Joanna Yinton. She's Swedish, and she posts really high quality content. We got millions of subscribers. She lives more farther north where the snow is, and she does the whole ice bathing and all that kind of stuff, and it's pretty awesome. So I can definitely recommend her. But I love watching. I was watching one of her videos today. Woke up, was making my coffee. It's kind of interesting seeing the life of other people. Let's see here. Change the camera. So this part of the island, so like you've got buildings here, all down that way, and the way it works is like from here this way, there's no buildings. So this whole area is like a nature reserve on this end. So you can see these two stones here in the middle of the walkway. And I absolutely love how clean it is here. Like I haven't seen any trash. There I haven't seen a trash can either. But the Swedish are pretty good about being clean and picking up after themselves. So it's like a little nature walk here. A little description about what you might find here. Sure you pick up your doggy poop. But yeah, just like a kind of a wild area right here. No houses here. You can have your That's another cool thing I love about Sweden is there's a thing called allemansrätt. So it's like everyone's right, basically. So everyone has the right to camp wherever. I think the rule is I could be wrong, but I think it's as long as you're 70 meters from where other people are living, and you have to clean up your mess when you're done. So like if you do a campfire, you need to kind of pick up everything, clean it up, so it's like you weren't there. Whereas coming from somewhere like United States, you gotta pay for everything. So, like, if you wanna set up a tent or you want to, um, yeah, yeah, just camp or whatever, or just even go into the park, a lot of times you have to pay an entrance fee just to go in a park. But here, it's like everyone has access to nature. Of course, it's winter right now, so, like, most everything's dead aside from some moss. But it's pretty cool out here in the summertime when everything is, like, alive and blooming. It's just like a bunch of wild area here. And then, of course, there's the seawall, holds the sea back, and it's still foggy. So, enlighten Normie, what do you think of Kentucky? What are the I was kind of curious. I was going to ask you earlier, and I forgot to ask you. So, like, if someone was to come to Kentucky, what is like the number one thing they have to see, and what is like the number one thing they have to eat? I'm always curious about that because even in the United States, it's like each state is like its own country. So yeah, exactly. Enlighten Army. Yeah, you get fees for everything in the United States. It's crazy. They just want to make money every which way off of you. I remember there was a lake that we used to go to just to swim. $5 a person. So it was my family of five, my brother, sister, mom, dad, and it was like 25 bucks just to go swimming and have a picnic there and leave. No tents, no camping or anything. Hey, TAP, welcome. Nice to see you joined. How is it in Stockholm? Here it is pretty mild and foggy, like really heavy fog. You can hardly see anything. That's the apartment buildings behind me. Um, but otherwise pretty mild. I think the weather's better here than where I come from in Texas, from what my family's telling me back home in the States. They're actually preparing for a huge storm. I heard that they had to change things up with the presidential inauguration. They're going to have to move it indoors because of the winter storm. So, enlighten Normie, not the guy to ask. Don't really eat out. Oh, you cook most stuff at home? I was just kind of curious if there's like a signature thing, because like I know um, different states have kind of like a way they do things. Like, for example, barbecue is different in Texas than it is in North Carolina. There's like some states is more of a wet rub, some is a dry rub. Some is sweet, some is spicy, some is sour. Maryland's got snowball. Uh, yeah, just different stuff like that. I don't know if there's anything that's kind of like very Kentucky. The only thing that's popping in my head, and I know this is probably so stereotypical, of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but it probably doesn't come from Kentucky. The weather's pretty mild there too, and um, Stockholm, TP. Okay, yeah, just no fog. Yeah, because you're on the other side of Sweden. You're like 7 hours driving from me where I live. I'm over here in Limhamn, outside Malmö. Enlightened Normie would like to try Texas barbecue one. Oh, dude, there are so many good barbecue places in Texas. And the thing is, you don't really have to eat out to get Texas barbecue. Most people can do it at home. I know most of my family, if we have a family reunion, it's almost like a competition to see who cooks the best brisket. The nice thing about the barbecue is that, you can eat it and have vegetables and cut back on the carbohydrates. You're just basically getting protein and fats. So I like, all the fixings that come with the barbecue, like I miss that about America, living here in Sweden. I love it here, but the thing I miss the most is the food back home. Hey, Uncle Carlson, good morning to you. You're in Malmö too. Yeah, I guess there's fog where you're at too as well. Foggy day today. Pretty awesome. Yeah, check this out. Let's see. I just can't get over how clean the water is. I mean, this is just insane. Like, crystal clear. But look at that fog though. Nice out here. Okay, yeah, foggy where you're at as well. Just doing my daily walk here. It's interesting how many people fish, even if the water's cold like this. There's a lot of people that fish. Oh, look at the little duck swimming in the water. It's so cold. TP, yeah, I've been to Stockholm several times actually. Um, Very short periods, usually like 1 to 3 days. It's so far on the other side that That's something I do like once every few years. Most of the places I've traveled to, it's usually either Helsingborg, stuff here in Skåne. So like Helsingborg, um, Ystad. Ystad's really cool. They have like all the Stena, which just kind of looks like Stonehenge, but it's up on a cliff overlooking the sea and a really nice little village. And let's see, where else? Gothenburg, so Göteborg. And like normally wish the water was clear, Meyer. It's so funny, right? Because like where I come from, it's kind of the same similar situation. It's not so clear in many places, but it's just nice. There's like no trash here. Finally found a trash can. But like it's so cool. Like here in Sweden, we have an area here where you can picnic, and they've got a barbecue grill. So if you want to cook meat and have your family out here and just enjoy nature, such an awesome thing of living in Sweden. I really appreciate that about living here. The one thing I don't like about, well, not the one thing, there's a couple things. It's hard to find things I don't like about Sweden, but it I have to really try hard. But this is the thing I hate the most right here. The parking situation is just insane. Um, living in the States, we do have to pay for parking sometimes, especially in downtown areas, but it's really hard to find parking. I mean, I'm out here on this island, like this is a nature reserve, and you have to pay for parking. I find that a little messed up, in my opinion, because it's like there's no bus that comes out here. So if you want to be out in nature and you have maybe a handicap and you can't walk here or take your bicycle, but you want to be out here with your family, then you have to pay for parking. And I'm like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. I never had a parking ticket in my life. I've always been really, really careful with the parking stuff here. You almost have to be a nuclear scientist to figure out how to read these signs. And I mean, these signs here are actually quite simple on this little island here. But like um, in other areas, like in the city, it's just like you'll have seven signs on one pole and you gotta like read it all. Of course, it's all in Swedish. And I'm not the only one having trouble with it. Even the Swedish people will be standing around having a whole conversation. Oh, there's people out here bathing in water. I won't video. They're bathing in the cold water. I'm not brave enough to do that yet. Yeah, me too. And I'm on the island, and that is the main area. I live over there on that side, across the water. Love this fog though. So nice. TAP, I don't drive, so parking here is such a mystery to me. I know, right? Especially in Stockholm. Oh my goodness. Probably another reason why I've avoided. But I tell you what's worse than Stockholm, Gothenburg, because there's all those trains and stuff, electric trains and everything, and it's really scary, really scary. I took driving lessons in Sweden. I've been driving for years in America. Our driving thing is just crazy. See, Michael Carson, the whole island is a lime deposit from the times when they produced cement. You're kidding. No way. Oh, that's fascinating. So is it like kind of like it didn't exist here before and it just kind of became a sand barge and it built up deposits, or and it just collected stuff? Starlight. They made it a hassle to pay so you can make money off ticketing. I agree. They make it a hassle to make money off ticketing you. I never had a parking ticket before in my life, and I'm super careful. And then I'll ask around to people. And my first year here, even after taking driving lessons, I got 4 tickets in 1 year, and they're expensive. I was barely making they say they don't have minimum wage, but I was kinda like making the least you can make in Sweden when I was trying to study the language and get a job as a nurse here. And, Yeah, we're talking, like the lowest I got was 400 kroner or like 40 bucks. The most I think was 800 kroner or like $80. And then there's like five different apps you have to have on your phone. I'm like, where I come from, uh, yeah, yeah, enlighten on me. They got to collect revenue somehow. Yeah, I know, right? Gotta get their money somewhere. Um, but yeah, that was quite frustrating to me. So like now I'm just like, we have an expression where I come from, if in doubt, leave it out. So I'm like, if I'm doubtful, I would rather walk a long ways and park somewhere far away than take a chance parking in the wrong spot. Um, and the thing is, you can't like in America, you're able to debate things, but you can't debate. It's just like, no, you just have to pay it, or else you're gonna get in big trouble. There's no room for discussion. And there's like five apps you have to download on your phone to park in the city. And in Texas, there's like one app you download and you can park pretty much wherever in like Dallas, Fort Worth, or if you live in Austin, there's an app there. I don't get it why there's five different parking apps. And so like one day I paid the fee on one app because I didn't know that there's more than one app. Apparently they changed companies. They sold the parking spot. And then Starlight says, but the parking situation is also not. What city do you live in? Out of curiosity. Because the thing about America is it's so big. United States is a huge land with different states and different rules and everything. It is getting worse where I came from, but it's still not as bad as here. In Fort Worth, where I'm at, in the kind of the new fancy area where all the wealthy people live, they do have some places where you pay $20 for parking at a garage, but it's pretty logical. You just pull in the garage and you pay. But here it's like every place is different. In one city, every place is different. They all have rules. You got to read the signs, and then if some, we have an expression in English is make it easy to do the right thing, but in Sweden they don't. It's like you should know this. You should follow the rule. This is the way it is. But I know I'm not the problem because everybody else was having problems with it too. And it's like the only way you learn is you have to make a mistake, and then you just remember, oh well, that didn't work, and I had to pay a fee, so I'm not gonna do that again. Michael Carthen says, read about it on Wikipedia. Oh, okay, about the island. Yeah, I'll do that when I go home. I'll take a look. I'm really curious about that. See if I can walk up these stones without falling. Yesterday was leg day. Oh, I didn't even know this was over the edge here. They have a whole thing here where you can stand and oh my goodness, I didn't even know this was here. I'm afraid to go down and play on the water. Like you can sit here, stand here, and fish. This is just awesome. Well, everybody, I am going to call it quits. Thank you for hanging out with me on the live stream. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the weather. Stay safe. And yeah, it was nice chatting with you all. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.